So I decided to start walking around. I walked around the premises. I was walking around, coming back to my bed, walking around, talking to the woman who's just beside me, and she was still in labor. We were induced around the same time, but she gave birth earlier than me. She gave birth at around 6 a.m. Lucky her, because it was over and done with. And then she left, and then another woman came and got the same bed. So I was just walking around, and it was around 1 a.m. I'm still in pain, like pain. So I went and sat on my bed. I was like lying on my bed, and then when I sat on my bed, my water broke, and I could see like a gush of water like trickling down, and I'm looking down, and then the nurses were looking at me, and I was looking at them and looking down. It was like looking down, and they were like calling the cleaner, kuja ufagie hapa, kuja upanguze hapa, kuja upanguze hapa. And they were looking at it, and they were discussing, and they were like, I'm like, it's just the water breaking. It has to break at some point in time. But they were looking at it, and they were like, kuja usipanguze. And then they calling them head nurse. I don't know what they are called, like the main nurse. And they were looking at it because it was brownish, and it's supposed to be clear. Not like clear like water, but it's supposed to have like a clear look. But mine was kind of brownish, and they were looking at it, and they were asking me, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm in pain. Like, obviously I really am in pain. And they were like, we think that the baby has pooped, and if the baby has pooped, because the water is kind of brownish, that is an indication that the baby has pooped inside of you. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? If we go, and then they took a sample of the water, and they went to check it, and they told me that if in case the baby has poop, we have to like take you to an emergency section. I'm like, what? Wait, me, you're not catching me up. I had had so many bad stories about C-section and the scars and the healing process, which really wasn't like pretty. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going for an induction. But they were like, if it gets there's no like deliberating, you just have to like get you to an emergency section. They went and examined it, and they were like, oh, you're okay, it's just a mild poop, and we have to like monitor you for a while before we decide on what to do. So I was like, okay. And I was given another dose of, at around it was around 4 a.m. sorry, I was given another dose of pitocin, and it was like a stronger dose. And then that's when the contractions became stronger and stronger and stronger, and my body couldn't handle it because I was in so much pain, and your mind is focusing only on the pain. There's nothing else you can do. You could not read, you could not even use your phone. You are just like focused on what was happening, and my body couldn't handle it, and I puked everywhere. I was like, I'm always like puking. I puked, and the nurses was like, hey, you, where minaka imekulemea, because I was really tiny. Right now I'm obese. Like, compared to what I was really tiny, and they felt that my body wasn't handling it well, and they were like, hey, if it goes wrong, we're going to take it for a C-section. I'm like, hey, no. So I puked, and they told me to rest. And I couldn't rest because I was in so much pain. And by that time it was around 4 heading to 5. So I was still in pain, working with the UV, and in between the hours they were coming to check my dilation. And there was a time they came and checked me after 1 hour apart, and I was still dilated at 6 centimeters. Like, they came and checked me at around 2, and I was at 6 centimeters, and by the time it was around 4, I was still at 6 centimeters, meaning that the pitocin wasn't working the way they thought it would. So they gave me another dose of pitocin, a stronger dose, and I'm like, what? Now the pitocin causes your uterus to contract, and it is painful, you guys. It's hata nasikia kufaint. I feel like fainting right now because it's so hot. It's painful. Let me just say that it's really painful. Like, your head feels like, and I was feeling hot, my head was aching. It was just a stressful time. And around 5, I was still in labor. I was having contractions every now and then, but I wasn't even timing them. I was just screaming and yelling. I got to a point when I was like, you know what, let me drop this pretty act, let me just like be myself. I started screaming and I was crying, and I remember I went to the bathroom and I was crying. I'm like, God, sitarudia tabia mbaya tena, sitarudia kufanya tabia mbaya tena. I was like, God, and then I prayed to God. I was like, God, either you reduce the pain, ama you don't take away the pain, but you make my baby come like right now. Either you take away the pain, or you make the baby come right now. And I remember I was crying that I won't repeat it and stuff. I cried. And then the woman came in and she was like, what's your kulia? Itatoka tu. And she had already given me. She was like, vumilia tu, itakuja tu. Atokiza. Hautasikia kitu from then on. And around morning came and I was still in labor and I was like walking around trying to sleep. Like, it was the longest night of my life. Thinking about it, I even don't know how I got through it, but it was the longest, most painful, most disturbing night of my life. So at around 8, my mom came. 8 morning came and my mom came. She left. She came immediately to the hospital with the baby bag, with the clothes and stuff like that. She was like, and then she phoned me in pain. I was like laying on my bed and I'm cringing and I'm making funny faces, and she's like, Rachel vumilia tu, and she was rubbing my back. I'm like, Mom, nisugue hapa, sitarudia tena. And she was laughing. She was like smiling. I could see her smiling, but she never wanted to show me that she was smiling, but she really was. She was laughing at me. Sawa tu, Mom, ni sawa. And she was rubbing my back, and it came to a point where she had to leave for work, and she was like, hey, Rachel, by saa sita utakuwa ushaza. And she left me another flask of tea, and I tried taking tea, and I could start feeling every time I took the hot tea, like the baby was like going out. I could literally feel her between my legs. And that was around 9. I could literally feel her between my legs. And I went, and the nurses came and told me I went for another checkup, and they inserted the fingers back again, and I was at 7 centimeters. And it was really annoying because you think you're dilated till 10, because the amount of pain you're going through and the number of hours that you're in labor, you think that you'll dilate until 8 centimeters, but when they go in to check, they tell you that you're at 6 centimeters, you're at 5, and it was really mentally disturbing. But by 9 a.m. I was at 7 centimeters dilated, so I was almost getting there. And the good thing, my mom was like, by saa sita utakuwa ushaza, and she left. So I remember I was just walking around. I was like, you know what? I was like tired. I'm like, you know what? This baby has to come out of me. Whether it likes it or not, I'm having this baby today and before Sasita. I didn't even want to wait until Sasita, until 12 p.m. So I was like, I'm going to have this baby, come rain, come sunshine. Oh, Lord. So I remember I could feel like Njeri's head between my legs, and I remember screaming at the nurse, mtoto anakuja, namsikia hapo katikati ya mguu wangu, mtoto anakuja. And they're like, Rachel, nyamaza, tunakujua tu, nataka tu tukupeleke ndani na kuna kitu tu inafanyika. And I'm like, no, the baby is here. Like, I could literally feel Njeri's head between around my vagina and between my legs. I could literally feel a lump between my legs. And they rushed me into the delivery room, and then when they went to check in, they're like, hey, no, Ikich. I'm like, I told you, you guys, I told you. I know what I told you. And they were like, hey, you're still 7 centimeters dilated, and we have to wait for 10. I'm like, I can't wait. Like, I could literally feel her coming down. And they were like rushing, they called in the doctor, and the doctor came in, and she's like, hey, this one has to go to labor, you have to cut her up. I'm like, what do you mean you have to cut me up? Like, yeah, you have to like be like 10 centimeters before the baby delivers, or you're going to tear, like you're going to rupture. And he was like, rupture. So I remember the midwife came in, and she took a pair of scissors, the medical scissors, not the normal scissors, the medical scissors, and I could feel her cutting like another 3 centimeters. It was painful. Gosh. Let me just breathe though. Let me just breathe because I'm feeling joto, nasikia joto. And she cut me up and she was like, Rachel, you have to cooperate. And my legs were up, I was already on the bed, and she was like, Rachel, you have to work together. When I tell you to push, breathe through the contraction and push. And I'm like, okay, I've seen it in movies, I can do it. But I was so tired. Remember, I hadn't slept the whole night and I hadn't eaten well, so my energy was like kidogo. So still I was on the IV drop, the Pitocin. I was still on the IV drop was still beside me, and the drip was getting in through my arm, and I remember it was just there, and the doctor was like, Mongeze ingine, Mongeze, she needs the energy, she needs more contractions. And they added another dose. I'm like, gosh, these people are pumping me with medicine and stuff like that. So they added another dose so that the contractions can like help me push it out, because the contractions are the ones that kind of squeeze the uterus and the baby's forced out. And because I was really tired and I couldn't feel, I didn't believe that I would push. So they were like, Mongeze ingine, Mongeze ingine. Because I was the youngest in the whole world. I was the youngest. Let me throw it out there. I was by then I had turned 21. But I was still the youngest until at around midnight, a 16-year-old came in and I was no longer the youngest then. So she was like, push, your baby is coming. I'm like, ah! And I'm like, Nina, push. Because I couldn't feel as if I was pushing. I felt like I was pooping. Like, you feel like you're pooping. Like you're taking a shit. And I'm like push tena. Na ukisimama kwa shingo nitakuchapa. And she was like upright, like up front, like with me, like she was so straightforward. Ukisimami, ukikosa kupush kwa shingo nitakuchapa. Because when you get the head out, some ladies like get tired and they relax at around the neck. And when you relax around the neck, it's like itamnyonga, something of the sort. It will like suffocate the baby. So like she was like, push na usisimamishe kwa shingo, ndio nitakuchapa kofi. And I was pushing and I pushed with all my strength. I really don't know where the strength came in, but the thought of me suffocating my baby, I wasn't having that. So I pushed and the baby came out, like, and then I could see she was little and she looked whitish and grayish, and it wasn't really cute. It wasn't cute at all. Not cute. And she was placed on my chest, and I could see the nurse trying to cut the cord, and the baby, she wasn't crying. I was like concerned because I know babies are supposed to cry, right? Babies are supposed to cry. And she wasn't crying. And I was getting concerned, and the nurse was like, atamka too, she's just clogged in the nose. And they took her away from me and they placed her at those 2 tiny beds, and they were like washing her up and they were like removing the clogs in her nose. And then I heard her crying. It was the most beautiful cry. It was like concerning cry, but it was like, she's here. And she was born exactly at 10:45 a.m. So my mom was right. By saa sita utakuwa umezaa, but by 10:45 I had already given birth to my daughter, and it was the most relieving, calming feeling ever. So I was like lying on bed, because I had been cut. Like they had to cut like 3 extra centimeters around my, is it vagina or cervix? I don't know. I think it's the cervix. I'm not sure. You guys, what do they cut? I don't know. But I remember it was like, we have to cut to like an extra 3 centimeters so that you can be able, the baby can slide through. But it's not really sliding through, because if it was sliding through, ningekuwa nishaza kitambo. So I remember I was there and I was like relaxed, and I'm like, yeah, finally it's over. And I thought she was cleaning me up, and she was like, okay, Rachel, usilale, because I was starting to sleep. I was like, me, I want to sleep. The baby is there, I can hear her crying, and I was like pooping at her, and she seemed okay. And she had a mohawk. She was so tiny. She was like so tiny. Her legs were so tiny, and she was just, it was heavenly. Let me just say, it was just heavenly, but she was really tiny. Nilikuwa nasema wa ni kadogo aje, and she was 3 kgs, and I was just lying there on the bed and I was dozing off because I was really tired and sleepy. And the nurse, usilale, there's another process. I'm like, what other process are we talking about here? Like, what other process are we talking about there? And she was like, yeah, we have to like remove the placenta. I'm like, what? The what? The what? And she was like, yeah, we have to remove the placenta. I'm like, there are either 2 options. Either you push it out, or we shove our hands up there and we pull it down. I'm like, no, nitai push. So I started pushing it, but it wasn't coming out. I could feel it coming out, and whenever I relaxed, it went back in. Hey, me childbirth apana. It's not the cup of tea. I think the Kardashians make it look pretty and easy, but they are on epidural. I wasn't on epidural. Epidural, it's like a numbing med that it's injected into you that numbs the lower part of your body. You feel the pressure of the baby coming out, but you don't feel the pain. I wasn't on epidural. I was feeling the pressure and I was feeling the pain, which was like, it's like fitting a head like this on a hole like this, my friends. Kichwa kubwa hivi kwa shimo kaa huu. Hey, me, my friends, you guys, me. Hey, I'm even feeling hot. Feeling hot. Let me even open the windows. Hey, and I was, every time I pushed the placenta out and every time I relaxed, it went back in. So the doctors were like, hey, we have to like to reach out into it and pull it down. So they were like, then the midwife was like up, and she was like, no nonsense. She was like, I'm not joking with you, we have to get it out. So she reached her hand. No, it's not like the fingers, it was like the whole arm. Oh Lord, guy, intervened. It's so hot thinking about it. It's so invasive and so invasion of privacy. It's just humiliating and embarrassing. She reached her hands inside my vagina, and remember, I've just given birth. It was so painful. She reached it up and she was like scraping the uterus away, no, the placenta out of, because it's attached to the uterine wall. Now she's like pulling it down from the she's detaching it from the uterine wall. So she's pulling it down, and she finally pulled it down, and I could feel it coming out with a burst of whatever came out. Let me just don't give much of that information. It came out and I was like, let me see. And I regret that question. I wish I never asked to see it, because it was gory. It was okay. Yeah, I'm fainting. I really am fainting. It was a gory sight to look at. Don't ask to see your placenta. Just let it be discarded where they discard it. And I wonder how people even eat their placentas, because I hear stories of people eating their placentas, but there's a new technology that makes the placenta into pills, like capsules, and you take them as supplements. I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. So I was getting stitched up, and I remember her preparing some injections, and she was like injecting me around my vagina, or is it the cervix? I don't know, and I really don't care. Like, you medicine people should come up with another way of giving birth to it. Like, so she was injecting it, and I got numb, and she was stitching me up, and I was still bleeding, and they gave me vitamin K. That you have to be given vitamin K. Ladies, you generally have to be given vitamin K so that it can stop the bleeding. You will still bleed, but not as much. It won't be like hemorrhage or something like that, but it will prevent like excessive bleeding. You have to get vitamin K. I've had stories of women who weren't given vitamin K and they died because of excessive bleeding afterwards. So make sure you get your vitamin K. It's administered through the mouth. It's an oral something. It's like a drop of, like a polio drug, and it's placed in your mouth. It prevents the bleeding. Whew, I feel like I'm reliving those moments, and I really don't like. I really didn't enjoy myself during that time. So I was stitched up and I was just lying on my bed. The UV was still on, and then it got depleted, and I was told to lie there because I was told, can you wake up? When I woke up, I fainted. I was like, I was tired. I was really tired, and they were like, oh, you just sleep there, kidogo. And I could see my baby. They had already put her on her clothes, and she was just there. And the doctor came back and she was like, hey, your baby is hungry, you need to get your act together. Because remember, I had not eaten during the whole labor experience, so obviously she wasn't getting anything from me. I had just taken tea, the rice that I had taken previously, and stuff like that. I'll be back. Came and told me that I really had to breastfeed my baby because she was crying and she was hungry. Clearly she was hungry because I hadn't eaten well during the whole 20-hour long labor, and she was getting hungry and she was getting fussy. And by then I hadn't told, the baby wasn't given to me because I was so weak. I was like at my weakest point. So the nurses were holding her, trying to console her, but they were waiting on me to regain my energy back. And it came to a point when I was like, I really have to feed my baby. So I woke up, they told me to go shower. There was a bathroom just directly opposite to the delivery room, and when you go there, it's like a common bathroom. It was partitioned, but there were no curtains, like everyone could see you. So I was like, I didn't care. Like, you've seen my interiors, what of my exteriors? You can see them, you can see everything. I didn't care. I just went there. My robe was all messy. The robe that was given, it was all messy, so I had to change it, and I went there and showered. There was an option: either the nurse comes and sprinkles water on you, or you do it yourself. Me, I was so weak, so I just went there on the wall and I was just there. And she sprinkled water on me. She sprinkled water on me, but especially around my waist area downwards, because I was bleeding. I was still bleeding. I was bleeding and bleeding, and she was just sprinkling water until a point when the bleeding stopped because of the vitamin K. The bleeding at least stopped, and I wore my robe and I went back to my bed. They escorted me to the bed, and later on my baby was brought, and I remember like holding her. She was so tiny and she was the cutest. She was just so cute. She was so cute, and oh Lord, her hair was so smooth, it was so black. And Jerry, you were so tiny, like you were so tiny. I was like holding you with my arm. She was like from here to somewhere here. She was so tiny, and her eyes weren't opening. She was trying like to peep through one of her eyes, but one of her eyes, just so. One of her eyes weren't opening, and she was trying to peep through that one eye, and she was like looking at me, and I was looking at her. I was like glued on her. It was just a magical experience. So I was just sitting on my bed and I'm trying to breastfeed her. Like, I knew it was the boob, so I like let it out, and by then my boobs were swollen. Like, it's like when the labor comes and you've like already given birth, like it induces the breast milk, and my boobs were swollen. My areolas had already disappeared. So the doctors came in with a syringe and they were trying to suction out my nipple. Oh Lord, it was so painful. I'm hot. It was so painful. So they come with a syringe and they fix it on the areola, and they were trying to pull the nipple out so that I can breastfeed my baby. And they did that several, and then my nipple came out, and I breastfed my baby, and she was having issues latching at my nipple, and that was another whole issue. But I was so glad that I had my baby. And then my mom came, and I remember I left my baby sleeping, and then I went to the loo because I felt like I'm really bleeding, and we were given some heavy pads. They're called Mediheal. They are not the normal pads, but they were heavy and thicker. So I went and changed the pad, and I came back and I found my mom on my bed, and she was holding Jerry, and it was just so cute. And my mom is called Jerry, so I named her after my mom. And they were just having their moment, and I was like, let him to tongue. Let him to tongue. And I just held her, and I was looking at her, and she was just so beautiful. And then she was just like suckling, and she slept, and I and I slept with her, and my mom stayed around. My sisters came, my big sister came, and then they left, and I just stayed in the hospital like for the next 2 days, and I was discharged, I think on Sunday. No, I stayed for the whole of Saturday because I gave birth at around 10:45. So I stayed there for the whole of Saturday, and I was discharged the following day around 5 p.m. there around. And I was healing okay, and everything just went okay after the whole experience. And I had my baby, and it was just the most calming thing. I remember just staring at her, and she was just so lovely. Will I do it again? I don't know, but I want more kids, so I think I really have to do it again. But for now, let me just enjoy raising my daughter, and yeah, we'll see where life takes us on that route. But for now, I don't think I'll go. I don't know. Let me just say, I wouldn't have a baby outside marriage anymore. Like, the next baby you hear me having will be in the confines of marriage, let me just say that. And that's basically my labor and delivery story. I know it has taken a toll on me, and I never knew it was going to be this heavy, but thinking about it and reliving the experience, it's fucked up. Anyway, I'll see you on my next video. You have a nice day, have a nice Valentine's, and I'm sending you all the love, and yeah, big hugs. Bye, have a nice day.